Anxiety. Remind you, the federal government told me in 1995 that I'm going to find all the faults in the medical system. They say all the experts agree that I'm going to find them faults. And at the time, I was probably about 27. I ain't know what the hell they were talking about. But I found out a couple of years later what they were talking about. But that would be the amputations videos. Right now, I want to stick to anxiety. You've seen part one. Now this is part two, and it just happened yesterday. Let me give y'all some history. My leg got cut off for no reason. And they cut millions and millions and millions of people's leg off because of a big toe infection. With nothing wrong with the foot or the leg. They just want the leg. They don't want the toe. Because when you're dealing with that leg, you're looking at $1 to $3 million, maybe even $6. Because you got the nursing homes, you got to make the legs. If they push for above the knee amputation, they try to make your below the knee amputation get an infection. But like I say, all that'll be in the amputation videos. But anyway, the hardest thing for an amputee to go through or learn to do is walk up and down stairs. They scare the hell out of you. Because when you get up in age, a lot of people die from falls. They fall in the bathroom or they fall downstairs and all kind of stuff. So after I come back home, I had to get out of where I was because of a bad caretaker. I had to get back home 100 miles away. But when I came back home, I had to crawl in the house because I just got my leg a couple of weeks and it haven't been adjusted or nothing. And I haven't had no therapy on how to learn how to walk till this very day and 3 years later. So I've been trying to figure out since I've been back here, which was 2023, how I'm going to get out the house to go to the doctor. How I'm going to get my eye fixed and I can't get out the house. How I'm going to go to the doctor. So for 3 years I sat here and never been able to get out my house. Until yesterday, and I'm going to tell you how it popped up. I had a dream one day, not too long ago, that they pushed my wheelchair to the edge of the step. And in the dream, I walked down the step. So I told my cousin, hey, I think I can get down the step. He said, I told you I'd carry you. I said, boy, I'm a warrior. I'd rather die than to go that way. You get what I'm saying? Or crawl down there or do something. But ain't nobody finna carry me like that. Right? I'm just mental like that. That's what anxiety is. And so we made the doctor appointment. And most people don't know what handicap is or the seriousness of it and all that. He put me to the edge of the steps. And he's like, "Cuz, lock the wheelchair. I'm gonna run back." And I tried to say, "Cuz," because I'm gonna tell him you can't do that. You know what I mean? You can't push a handicapped person to the edge of danger and just walk away. You got to hold that wheelchair. Now, what he should have did, he had to go back in the house. He should have pushed me back in safety, far as he can from that edge of that porch, right? But it was too late. The wheelchair flipped. I flipped with it. All I can remember was me flipping over, like about to do a forward flip. And next thing I know, I was holding the staircase. And I say, "Cuz, help me. Help me." I wanted him to help me get down the stairs. And he say, "Cuz, you already down the stairs. You passed the stair, cuz, you in the yard." I say, "What?" He say, "Cuz, You standing up at the bottom of the stair. How did you get down there? I say, I don't know. He said, well, all I seen was the wheelchair flipping over. I didn't see you. I said, for real? He said, no, man, I ain't see you. I just saw the wheelchair flipping. I said, well, I don't know what happened. I even got down here. I say, you sure I'm on the bottom? Because remember, I'm partially blind. And I can't see nothing with the sun shining, right? And he said, cuz, you at the bottom of the step, man. So then we go to the doctor, right? We got into the doctor. This is my first time going to this doctor. This is a new doctor. But normally, I don't have no trouble. And I say, they ask you several times, even on paper, why are you here? I say, for refills, right? So she went to asking me questions, and her main concern is, remind you, she ain't got none of my paperwork. She was going by certain pills, and certain pills got her attention, like the diabetes pill. She said, oh, you probably got liver trouble and need dialysis. No, she said, you probably got kidney trouble and need dialysis, and you probably got liver trouble too, because these diabetic pills. I said, no, miss, you don't understand. I asked the doctor to put me on them pills when I became disabled in 2016. Because the research say that metformin restore your organ and age you backwards. It's like a miracle drug fountain of youth. And I knew several people who were taking them, so I begged the doctor. And he say, show me where it say metformin bring back the fountain of youth. And I Googled it and showed it to him. And he say, man, you sure you want them because you ain't diabetic? I said, yeah, but my mama diabetic and my two brothers diabetic. I said, okay then, I hope you're doing the right thing. So that's how I got diabetes pills, right? And I told her that story. And she kept saying, how long have you ever drank? Yeah, man, I drank. I quit drinking 20 years ago. She said, well, that probably took out your kidney and your liver. I said, miss, I only drank on weekends. I said, but anyway, miss, it took me 2 years to come see you due to anxiety. I haven't been out of my house in 2 or 3 years, miss. I haven't been active in like 6 years since I hurt my knee. 9 years since I hurt my knee. I say, so I'm not used to being outside. And she said, I think you need depression pills. I said, oh, the government told me I'm going to need depression pills and anxiety pills in 95, but I never need them, miss. Because I was drinking and it took away the stress and the depression. I said, but when I quit drinking, it come back. But when I quit working, that when it got bad because I'm going for years and years. The only time I saw humans was when I go to the doctor's office. Just like now. And she said, all she was worried about, was kidney and liver and all this stuff because I drunk 20 years ago and she still trying to make me have diabetes. I say, I done been in 3 nursing homes and all 3 nursing homes say that's a misdiagnosis because I do not have diabetes. Even the ones who continue to give me shots, one unit, and they say, we don't know why they're making us shoot you. You don't have diabetes. I say, yeah, y'all keep checking my sugar while I'm eating. I say, you supposed to wait after I eat because when you eat, it's at the highest level. I say, but all the hospital and y'all checking it while a person eating. And the nurse said, oh my God, we all talk about that. We know that too. But none of the patients ever caught it. She said, yeah, we supposed to wait long after y'all eat. Because when you eat, it goes to higher level. I said, well, they want them numbers for a reason. I said, it's a reason they want my number higher and to say they gave me insulin. And the nurse said, if I were you, I just won't eat the sweets they put on your plate because they kept putting red velvet cake on my plate 2 times a day. And I thought it was non-sweet. And then I asked the people who brought the food, and they called the lunchroom and say, "Oh, no, them regular velvet cakes." What? Y'all told me I'm on the diabetic diet. Which I still don't understand why I'm on the diabetic diet, but I know it because of these damn false papers, right? And I realized they want to label everybody with high blood pressure and diabetes. Then they can do what they want to do. They can milk your card with your heart. If you have a heart attack or stroke, they can't get sued because they got it on paper. You diabetic. And you got high blood pressure. And I noticed that. And then when I started going to other facilities, they said you got long-term use of diabetes, and blood pressure. You got long-term use of diabetes. I said, no, y'all mistaken. I never had trouble with my blood pressure until I quit working and my stress level built up. I said, that was like a year ago. I say, but as far as diabetes, I don't have diabetes. They say I might have pre-diabetes, but not enough to put me on medication. You know, that's what my doctor was saying after they say I would die. Not my doctor, but the other hospital I went to in a nursing home. They say they misdiagnosed you. 3 nursing homes in the hospital told me that. Next thing I know, I find out why. I got a half a foot, half a leg, and ain't had nothing but toe infection. I went to research. Everybody who get toes infection, especially black, they amputate their entire leg. These people don't even know what's going on. But anyway, back to the anxiety. So I told the lady I come for my prescription. So we talk. I stayed there a long time. They kept asking me, where do you get your prescription from? And I told them like 4 times. Oh, Walgreens. So I'm thinking, I'm going to get prescription. Right? Remind you, I told this lady that it took me 2 years to get there due to anxiety. Which were them stairs. Because they can kill you. It's a long drop. And I don't like doctor office too, so I have anxiety because I spot bullshit. Why do I done been home for 2 days? Yesterday and today, ain't nobody called me about no prescription. I don't have hardly no blood pressure pill. And next week I go for blood work, and then after that she got me coming back in. But that's the first time in history I went to get refills. And ain't got them. She all good and well probably. She probably saying, well, it took him 2 years to get him because of anxiety. I ain't gonna give him his prescription until he come back to more appointments. Meanwhile, I can die. Nobody care about anxiety. Nobody care about the handicap. And I told her, Miss, I don't want to get caught in this medical web no more because I had a toe infection that supposed to last 4 to 6 weeks, and it took 5 years out of my life. I had to move out the county because they were going for the leg, miss. I don't want to get in the medical web no more. I just want my prescription. And now look at it. I got no prescription. But the government need to do something because I feel if somebody done been on the same prescription for 10 years and it working, why do we go to the doctor to refill them? Why? It should be automatic refill after 10 years. I know they want to make money. Hell, everybody want to make money. But why not cater to the old and elderly, especially ones who handicapped without transportation? Man, when somebody take me to the doctor, like, I'm going to have to pay $500 for these 3 appointments out of my pocket. Gas is high. Food is high. Everybody charging you now, even family members. Let's quit the bullshit, man. After 10 years, let people get automatic prescription. I done went to doctor. They get them paid. And I don't have prescription. Because why? They don't know what disabled and handicapped mean. And they don't give a fuck about anxiety. And it's crazy. Thank you and God bless.